Hello and welcome to the Chapter's Creative Conspiracy Podcast. This is your host, Matthew Nanez. I run Chapter's Creative, the narrative first branding agency, and it's good to be back. And we're doing something a little bit different today. So I went on LinkedIn and I had said, I need a good excuse to justify my Riverside account. So what I did is I offered free consultation and like I said, it's free, but I get to record these episodes and put them out here for y'all to learn from because I've helped. I'm in the middle of recording a few different podcasts right now where people had raised their hand and said, hey, that's me. I want to do that. And so this is the first conversation of like this series. I don't know what this series is called, but you're going to learn about people who have are no longer doing the 9 to 5 thing. They're doing their own thing. They've done it for a few years, but they're still unsure of certain things, right? Because when you're on your own, like you have blind spots. I have blind spots working on my own. And like I said, this is the first one today, and I was talking to Pamela King. So Pamela King is a former teacher who is now, as she calls it, a small business optimizer. So she goes into small businesses and takes a look at their processes, their organization, and she comes in and straightens things out. So her problem is, well, how much do I keep talking about my past? Like, do I do courses? So we talk about that. We didn't get anywhere definitive on the courses thing, but I wanted her to lean into who she is and her past because that makes her unique. I mean, she already has like a unique title that she's given herself, a small business optimizer, but how does she communicate that? And we get into it on this episode. So without any further ado, here is my conversation with Pamela King. You might learn a lot from it. I learned a lot from it, and I hope you enjoy it. Yeah. So let's get started. So Pamela, thank you for making time for this. Like we were talking a little bit before I hit record, but we've been in our LinkedIn circles and we're always kind of like chatting like in the DMs or whatever, but like it's good to finally like meet you. It's a good excuse to meet people doing this. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. I'm so excited for the opportunity. Appreciate you fitting me in. I know you said you've had really good response to this project, so excited to be part of the ground floor.
Yeah. I think for the uninitiated, what I did, it was like on LinkedIn. I was like, hey, I like what did I say? I was like, help me justify my Riverside FM subscription. I'm like, let's talk for an hour. Like, well, I'll record it, put it on a podcast, but I just figured, like I said, like I want to have fun with this. I love helping people like wherever they're at, like, whether it's their like marketing, messaging, whatever else. But I think I don't know if you felt like this before you went into like business or things like that, but you're just like, what the hell do I do like with myself in this whole thing? And yeah,
very much so.
Yeah, and you've been a few years in the game, and I've been a few years into the game, but like, there's still stuff that I'm seeing about my own stuff that I'm like, oh my god, like, I'm having trouble with this, Well, so I figured it was a good opportunity just to like, A, have fun, but B, like, help people, maybe help myself along the way. Why not,
Well, I appreciate that. Well, yes, because I was a public school teacher for 15 years. And then actually this month, it'll be 5 years I stepped into entrepreneurship. So wow. I've taken 0 business classes. I have not. I mean, I'm social studies certified. So like I'm certified by the state to teach economics, but like that's about it. So like I understand market forces and like the role of the Fed, but I don't take typical business classes. So answer
Yeah.
your question, absolutely. So all of this, marketing, sales, everything has been completely kind of learning as I go.
Yeah. So let me ask you this question. Cause like typically if you go on like people's like LinkedIn, you can see that like people are kind of like building up to something when they go off on their own. They'll maybe have like a marketing manager role or whatever it is. There's no such thing for you.
Yeah.
like you were saying, like you went straight into it. So like what was the impetus of you getting out of the teaching game in the first place?
Yeah, it was a total surprise to myself even. Entrepreneurship was never something I dreamt of. So 2017, so almost 10 years ago now, which is wild.
Hmm.
A dear friend is a realtor, at the time was a solopreneur working with a coach.
Hmm.
Coach told her it was time to bring on an assistant, start hosting client appreciation events, all the things. And she was overwhelmed. And it was
Yeah.
about to be summer break. I didn't think anything of it. I certainly didn't think I was starting a business. I just thought I was helping out a friend. So
Yeah.
I offered for her to bring me on for the summer. She knew me. She knew we worked well together and that she could get that experience of having help. So
Hmm.
my natural teacher brain kicked in. And I just started documenting things and creating templates. And, here's daily, weekly, monthly checklists. And here's our new client welcome packet and all that kind of stuff that just made sense to me.
Yeah.
In the fall, it was time for me to go back to school. And it was so easy for her to slot somebody in because of the framework that I had created.
Yeah.
So we've continued working on that. She now, is an agency with 3 sub agents, continually gets the Keller Williams Platinum designation, their highest award. And people
Yeah.
kept asking, well, what's your secret? What are you doing? And she just kept passing my name along.
Oh no. I was
So
about to
I
say,
think,
oh no, but like it's not like you were looking for this. It's just like at your door knocking and you're just like, what the heck? What's
well, and
going
I
on?
didn't think this was real honestly, for a year. So I was like, well, sure, I can help. Oh, I'll do these little helping projects. But it was never an ongoing role. It's not like I'm
Yeah.
not a online business manager. I'm not a COO. Those are not for me. I come in,
Hmm.
my mom calls me Mary Poppins. I come in for a few months, kind of help fix some things. But the whole idea is then you take it and run with it and you and your team sort of live in that framework. And then
Hmm.
I move on and I do check-ins here and there, but it's not that same
Yeah.
ongoing level of support, which you shouldn't need. Um,
Right.
so that I don't know anyone else who does this. So when we
Yeah.
talk about market, I had to invent a name for it. I had, I actually,
Yeah.
it,
So what is the name that you would give it? Like it's
yeah.
like
So
a
I call it
because
a small business optimizer.
okay,
But again,
it is on your headline on
it
LinkedIn. That's
is,
right.
but it's a little bit buried because again, I made it up. So to
Sure.
a conversation you and I had leading up to the people are not Googling small business optimizer near me.
Right.
Um, so I had to invent that, I still, it's just very funny to see how it's evolved. And at the 1 year mark of doing these helping projects, I was like, I think this is a business. But again,
Yeah.
because it was short term, I was scared thinking that wasn't real also. I'm like, oh, just bring me on for a few weeks, few months. I'll help you out.
Yeah. So do you have or prior to this, especially in your teaching days, like would you ever consider yourself like entrepreneurial whatsoever, or it's just total
No,
accidental?
it was an I remember I had a job working at a sandwich counter at a restaurant and counting out the drawer, and the owners were crying doing the books. And I was like, who would ever want to be in business owner? That seems I actually had very negative concept of it. So to do that and to take that risk was kind of really shocking. Um,
Hmm.
but it's been so fun and so freeing. And there's a million reasons. And I love my time teaching. I'm grateful for it. If I had to do it again, I wouldn't skip it. But
Yeah.
15 years was a good chapter and I was ready for something else.
Yeah. So when you said goodbye to teaching, like was there like an overlap at all? Like were you taking these clients as the school was going on?
Yeah.
And did that drive you nuts?
It didn't drive me nuts. It just kind
Okay.
of what's funny is looking back on it, it was moving towards that. But like I said, that was 2017. I didn't leave education until May of 21. So,
Hmm.
COVID was in there. There was a lot. And I was helping people, but I kind of downplayed these projects. I didn't think of it as real work because it was short term, because I didn't
Hmm.
think I was interested in entrepreneurship. Then
Sure.
I got to that point. So, because of the way education is, you have to resign in May. Otherwise, it's another year. I
Hmm.
knew I was done. I didn't have my next thing lined up, but I just knew I was done. So I spent truly pretty much a year doing these, not realizing this was it. I was doing this thing, waiting for a job to come across or something else. And at the
Yeah.
1 year mark, I was like, wait a minute, maybe this has, there is more momentum. This is viable. And so I
Hmm.
filed for an LLC in the spring of 2022. So that's when I started taking it like really, truly seriously. And it's been
Yeah.
since then.
Yeah. So like when you first started, was it mostly like referrals? It sounds like.
Yes,
Um,
it is.
yeah.
And
What
it's,
happened after that? Like, did you when you brought in some other sources of?
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
it's still, a lot of it is my local referral people, and my network has
Hmm.
definitely grown from attending networking events and from, honestly, from being on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is great for building credibility. I
Yeah.
don't I don't use it in a way of like creating this sales funnel and targeting, like there are people who can really do that at a level I'm not utilizing it for that.
Yeah.
But it has been great for building credibility, for connecting with additional people. I've had some clients from out of state and things that I wouldn't have before, but
Hmm.
I would say the majority, just because, and part of it too is just who I am and how I care to do business, is
Yeah.
that heart led, more person I know attending these networking events, and which ends up being referral based.
Hold up, I interrupt my own conversation to tell you that if you're enjoying this, if you're learning something, and if you're like, hey, that Matt guy can help me, well, I invite you to contact me and let's talk about the brand narrative workshop. So, with 3 hours, I sit down with you using a modern version of the hero's journey. I sit down with you and clarify your brand messaging, your positioning, and also take a look underneath the hood and seeing if how you're getting customers and how you're getting deals, if that's working out for you. So if that is you, if you need help with your own business and you're questioning, am I saying the right things, this is for you, the brand narrative workshop. So go to chapterscreative.com, reach out, and I can help you. Now back to the show. Yeah, I think that's something that people, whenever they're reading these like business posts, like here's what you should do. Like you should, for instance, do you know of Alex Hormozy?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, yeah. So he has this like get a hold of 100 people a day, and it's just like whether it's like cold calling or whatever else, and for some people like that is just not how they roll, like or anything like that. I do think it's not for me. I mean, I've done it before. I'm not afraid of doing it, but like it's like I would rather have like a relationship too. Like I have done the pitching is my first DM, and it feels gross when it doesn't work.
Yes, I will say I
Yeah.
know a weakness for me across all my stuff is that I need to invite more. Like, when I'm creating LinkedIn content or anything, I love sharing. But I need to be better at saying, if you would like to work with me, I'm very nervous about feeling salesy, and,
Hmm.
I don't know. So that is definitely an area I know I can improve in, and that I am working on being more, even kind of building that sort of pipeline versus, but I'm not DMing. But I also
Yeah.
believe in that concept of rich relationships, in
Sure.
that it is a slower, it's playing the long game, and I'm not connecting with people purely out of trying to make money, but
Hmm.
it works out, but it's not linear in that way of like, this post, generated X amount of income. That's just not how my business runs. Yeah.
Yeah, I think one time I have a client right now, and I posted something like random about like punk rock music, and she responded to it, and then a week later I was, a client, or she was one of my clients, and it came out of nowhere. Like I can't like, of course I can like add up all of the invoices and be like, oh, that one comment netted me whatever, but I do think there's something to be said about yeah, just have like you said, like not, like playing the long game, right? And not even like reaching out to people for the sake of reaching out to people and just talking and saying hello, and that puts so much less pressure off.
Well, and especially because those of us who are, I just feel like we're out here like yelling into the void. So when a
Yeah.
human reaches out and was like, hey, just want to check on you, or hey, your stuff seems cool, just saying hi, that means so much. And it does fuel your tank, and it does make it where then, you're looking for them, you're commenting for them, we're all cheering each other on.
Hmm.
And sometimes that may be a referral, or it could be, some sort of collaborative opportunity. But a lot of it is just truly, knowing that you're not alone in this, that sort of community or teamwork, and getting things on your radar that sometimes are a good fit. And it's like, whatever. The one I can think of the most obvious for me is a woman I know was working with a business coach actually out of Colorado.
Hmm.
And that put her stuff across my feed. And long story short, I'm going to a business conference held by this coach that I would have
Hmm.
never attended, except
Yeah.
for that this person interacting on their LinkedIn put it in my feed, which then sparked my interest.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy how all that stuff can work, like last summer I was reaching out to 50 people a day. I still have my notebook that's buried. Like I'm pointing to it right now. It had like I would write down not a notion list. Like I was writing down all these names, and I thought that was helpful. But like, but cool stuff happened from that. If it's not just like pitching, most of that
Right.
was pitching. But like, there's even when the pitch like quote unquote didn't work, like there was still some cool things that happened from that. Like I think it's just when you're operating from a place of like I need deals, that's obvious and feels gross. Like it reeks for me.
Right. Especially when
Yeah.
you could tell somebody's trying to do their numbers. And so they're like, Pamela, your job, your work in coaching is really impressive. And I'm like, I'm not a coach. I've said it like 6 places. I'm not like, you're clearly
Mm.
not connecting with me. You're just doing your work. Yeah.
I wonder if they look at your profile because like I've got it open right now. Like I mean, you can do like a control F. There's
Hmm.
nowhere there's nowhere to be seen like the word like coach on your about page whatsoever.
No,
But I think
sometimes I say, as opposed to a
uh-huh.
coach, I do done for you work. And it's hard because no disrespect to coaches, but
Mhm.
that is not what I care to be. That is not the services I provide. To me, it's really important that it's done with you or done for you work. Because I think
Mhm.
a lot of people are getting a lot of advice, and especially in like you should clean that up, you should get your calendar situated. Like we all know, and you don't need a coach for that so much as you need somebody in the weeds with you to say, okay, we're going to go in, we're going to make these different links, we're going to set up your your Asana this way or Monday this way. And sometimes they just hand it off and let me do it. So again,
Mhm.
another, I don't know if it's from my teaching days or what, but I love my metaphors and my analogies, but I think of it
Yeah.
as like being, like someone you hire to clean your closet. Like
Yeah.
you just clean the closet, I'll come back and do the big reveal. Like you don't have to sit there and agonize over, I decided to do it by color and whatever.
Yeah. It maybe like we can get into like the weeds a little bit as far as like whatever you might be thinking. You can tell me if this is like a thought that you have that you're frustrated with. But like if you're a designer, it's really easy to show off the stuff that you've done in a portfolio or like yeah, or something like that. But what you do isn't visual at all.
It's not visual and it's not sexy, if that's what you're trying to say. Like you're trying to not hurt my feelings. Yes. Yes. Again,
So, do you feel frustrated about that? Like, how can I like show this off? Like, show my work? Like, do you?
somewhat,
Mm,
because it's the foundational stuff. And
yeah.
I think there's 2 pieces. I think there is the visual. People love to do like coming soon, our rebrand, coming soon, our new website. Nobody's like to say like, oh guys, I've really got my tasks are really color coded in my calendar. Like it doesn't have that ta-da.
Yeah, it's
Um,
not sexy.
it's not. And
Yeah.
and often people I hear and I don't know if I'm taking us on a tangent, but like a lot of people think it's a
Tangent away.
marketing problem. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, no, if you're not able to fulfill the leads, or you're taking a long time to get proposals, that's not marketing anymore. That is that back end stuff. And that's the problem. Everyone thinks they need to make more money, and they need more marketing in order to make more money to get to that point, and they're chasing in that regard, when so much
Mm-hmm.
of it is, if we got stuff where it was plug and play, where you weren't using up all your bandwidth or your whole day chasing your calendar, finding emails, if you're that person who's like, oh, sorry, wrong attachment, like those kind of things really undermine you.
Mm.
That's where you're losing your bandwidth. And frankly, you are making yourself not worth the investment. Like if your
Yeah.
clients think like they're like, oh, that doesn't necessarily match what they're trying to
Mm-hmm.
charge. So those behind the scene things, I think, are so foundational. But there is a little bit of talking to people, or people just think that they're going to bootstrap it. They're like, well, that's okay. I'm going to make this business and I'm going to hustle. And hustle's great, but we can save you a lot of time. We can recapture and make that space so you can do that high level stuff. So you can really give that incredible service. And so
Mm-hmm.
mistakes don't get made in the background.
Yeah. So you've been doing this for 5 years. So what are some of the more frustrating, what are some of the more like frustrating aspects of you doing this like right now? Like, what are you running against that you're just like, crap, like, like, what should I do? Or like, I need to do this, but I don't know like where to start. Cause
Oh, gosh.
yeah.
Okay, well, like so many of us, a lot of the things I did for people 7 years ago, 9 years ago, people are
Mm-hmm.
now very comfortable having AI do.
Mm.
So there is some of that, where it's, oh, create a new client welcome packet. Oh, we'll just have AI do that. Oh, we'll, write the team bio. We'll have AI do that. Or they tell AI to work as their business manager and tell them what to do in those steps. So
Yeah.
that's a piece. Um, I have very complicated relationship with the idea of creating a course. I
Mm.
have a master's degree in curriculum and instruction. So like
Yeah. This is
courses
nothing
I
new.
design can count for college credit. So
Yeah.
that is my personal mental bar. And I have in my past designed some gorgeous courses with really rich, engaging material.
Mm-hmm.
So when I see other people creating a course or think about doing it myself, that's my own.
Do you
mm,
cringe?
it's a cringe. It's also just like, what's the expectation, and
Right.
what should that look like? The pacing, the value behind it, and I don't know. That is definitely an internal thing that I'm putting on myself and I'm struggling with. But again, also because I really want people to have such actionable things when they work from me. And
Mm-hmm.
my own personal opinion, I don't love when people are just paying for downloads that don't actually move the needle. And it's like, oh, well, I downloaded this core. I listened to this webinar. Oh, I did the download. But if you're not actually
Mm-hmm.
doing it, to me, if my name's going to be on it, I want it to really move the needle for a person instead of
Mm-hmm.
selling a $20 download.
Yeah, and it would be so easy for you to do too. It'd be so easy for you to do. But
But it's also not new information, like it'd be like, oh, you should organize your CRM. Like, I don't feel right charging for that advice,
mhm. Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think there's something like to that a little bit. What I was listening to this podcast yesterday, and the host was talking about her own courses that she does, and she actually it wasn't even a business podcast. It's a different podcast, but she actually went into her mindset of why she makes them available versus like someone DMing you for free advice.
yes.
So I'm glad I typically don't listen to her podcast, but like I'm glad I did because it's coming up today.
Yeah.
She was saying that the fact that someone's throwing down money, it's their investment to take on whatever information that they're going to get. Like the responsibility is on them.
Yes.
So as I say that to you, like, what do you think about that? Like, as far as Because I have thoughts, but like, what's your gut reaction when I
Well, it's
say
that
that to
same
you?
thing of like, I do think people, that's it. They are putting their money into it. And I know
Mm,
that so often people download things or sign up for, they're going to listen to the replay and then they never do, right? It's just the
yeah,
dopamine of I've got it. It's in this folder. I'll get to it. And I don't want to be part of that clutter when I
yeah,
actually kind of take pride in helping people clean out
y-
that clutter. So
yeah.
that's me. And it is my own detriment where I
And
talk myself out of sales left and right because I'm like, well, you're not
well,
ready for me yet. Or you can do that. You don't need to pay for that. Just do it.
yeah, because it makes me wonder, like, because I was also like going through your post and also knowing that like you're a teacher. I think like if you're not if you don't feel like it's against like your brand values, like to do a course, like
Yeah.
that's like a post within itself, being like, this is why you'll never see me do a course to help you with this thing because
Mm,
XYZ. And I think it's interesting what people talk about, like what they don't stand for.
yeah.
That's interesting itself, especially when so many people are like, make courses. Like I was even thinking about it too. Like, what would it mean if I like made like a cheap course, like to help someone with whatever? But then to your point, you have a very extremely like, valid point. Like, if someone's going to throw down like 20, 30, 40, whatever it is, are they actually going to do it? And
Yeah, that's
yeah,
yes. And so I guess that's it. Is part of me is like never say never. So I don't feel comfortable saying, well, you'll never see me do this because if the circumstances were right, and I've kicked around the idea of like an entrepreneurship accelerator, which was like the idea
hmm,
of like a 6-week. But like, again, it was not a download. It was truly like a cohort where I'd meet with people and we'd talk. And that feels more authentically to myself and kind of taps into that
yeah,
teacher half of my heart that I don't want to
yeah,
walk away from. But the reality of getting people synchronously online and available and what time of day and, kids' schedules and all that stuff, it just kind of fell apart. And
yeah.
the other tricky part was I think I was designing that course for an earlier entrepreneur, and I
Mm.
don't know those people are always on LinkedIn.
Right. They're more like Instagram people.
Maybe,
That's something that I've been thinking about as well, because for myself personally, there's two different types of people. Like I would even say like three, like pretty much like at whatever stage you're at, like I can work with you.
yeah,
But like you're saying, if someone who's just like ideating and not quite sure, they're probably not probably not thinking in that entrepreneurial way. I wasn't for the longest time. So,
yeah,
but I do think like you being a teacher is such like or that teacher heart, is such a big part of what your story is. Like, I don't like, as far as like your own like narrative, to bring it back to like what I do. I
yeah,
think that's such a huge part of like where your brain is, where your heart is, like where your work is, like going alongside people and teaching them. And like
yeah.
you said, never say never on a course, but because I do still think it fits into the
I
teacher aspect.
I think so. I just haven't yet cracked the code on how to deliver something that I feel justified in the value of,
Yeah.
but and how to deliver that. And the other
Yeah.
thing is kind of back to what I was saying. I didn't talk about being a former teacher for a long time because to me that was it would undermine my credibility because I haven't taken business classes. What does this girl know? Like, so I
Hmm.
really didn't talk about it. And
Yeah.
then lately I've been kind of leaning into it. Or there was a time when I used to say former educator and I, met with people and they were like, just call yourself an educator, which is true. Like
Oh yeah, I
it's
agree.
not like the door's closed on that. I'm just educating in a different way. And the other
Yeah.
thing that I should probably lean into more that I don't because it's kind of a sticky thing is um, the majority of my time, I was the regular ed teacher in an inclusion classroom. So I've
Hmm.
not taken business courses, but what I am deeply trained and have ridiculous amounts of hours and probably technically hundreds of clients is
Yeah.
working with uh, people, the neurodivergent individuals or those with mental health disorders. And
Yeah.
so that is it. And that's it. I'm not selling the Pamela King 3-step system. Again, don't buy my download. It is, I get in with you and we talk
Hmm.
about, and based on you and your brain and what makes sense for you, we create something that is sustainable and usable and real versus, this
Yeah.
formula that you then beat yourself up for because you tried this, like the Pomodoro technique and it didn't work. That doesn't mean you're a failure. It just means that's not for your brain.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I definitely have some ideas because like you could do like the radical thing of making like something for free, but then you get into the argument. Well, does someone value it if it's free? Like say if you have like your neurodivergent person who might actually like benefit from that and they download it for free, that's cool, but like it's then it goes to the question of like, okay, is that person, you know, like in 3 years going to turn around and actually hire you? It could,
Well,
for
and
sure.
there are people who are truly like ADHD coaches or whatever, and that's again, I am not, these things,
Yeah.
but I am deeply trained in how to help support these people. And so because I want to be careful of that, again, I think I'm so light on my touching on those topics that it's probably
Mm-hmm.
not because I'm like, well, I don't want someone to, think I'm coming into their territory. But the reality is, and I never remember if it's 72 or 74%, but one of those of entrepreneurs have either a mental health condition or neurodivergent,
The
which, right?
weirdos.
That's like who does the typical corporate world not always work for. So it
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. And I'm so deeply trained and that is, where my skills do lie. But
Yeah.
I want to find a way to gently say I can assist without seeming like it's how to present yourself as an ally without, trying to step on toes, I guess.
Yeah. What if you want my point of view as far as like the stepping on toes thing? Like
Yeah.
one of the things that kind of has like set me free a little bit in the last couple of years because I can be a competitive person. Um, if I see some other like brand strategists out there saying good stuff for a while, I was like, oh, like
Right.
I need to get them. But the I heard it somewhere is like everyone like there's more than enough for everyone to eat. Like if you're putting in like the work to like get clients and put yourself out there, like I just have to trust that throwing my voice out there isn't going to detract from anyone else. Like if someone's like perfect for me as a client,
Yeah.
and it's like it's not like you're claiming to have this experience when you actually haven't.
Right.
Like that'd be one thing. If you were like just kind of parading around being like, I'm for the neurodivergent, yada yada yada, and you have nothing to show for it,
Yeah.
then that puts you in weird for me at least, like as
Yeah.
far as like how that seems like on the outside, especially if you can speak to it and you can bridge that gap between the systems aspect of like having a business to like what you're doing now. If you like thread that needle in that story somehow, like which it wouldn't be hard at all like to
Yeah.
do. So I don't know, like this is just me coming from the outside being like it's probably not that big of a deal, because you're not
I
positioning yourself
guess.
as a coach. Like it's just like this is just processes that I'm helping with.
Yeah.
You don't even
Right.
have to like change your you know your deal to be like change your headline to be like processes for neurodivergent. Like I'm not even like saying that. It could just even just be like a little drop. It could be a post in itself, but it doesn't have to be like the whole thing unless that's what you felt led to do. Then like yeah, revamp
Well,
everything.
no, because I really think the strategies and what I do can help anybody, regardless of if
Yeah.
they have a diagnosis or not. And
Hmm.
it's more about let's pop the hood.
Yeah.
There's ways we can tighten stuff up. And maybe it's paying for software, but a lot of times it's better leveraging the software you're already paying for. That's also like a main tenet of what I believe in. Because, again, another one of my little things is like so many people are paying for Ferraris, but they're driving them like tricycles. Like you've got this monster, you're paying for Monday project management software, but
Oh
it's you
man.
and one team. Like this is, I don't
HubSpot or
know if you're
whatever.
there
Yeah.
yet,
Yeah. Yeah. Like you're better off with like a note, like a Notion board. That's it or whatever. Like,
Yes.
yeah. So I don't know. Like I do think it's worth having like a few posts written about, and drop it in there here and there. Like you might,
Okay.
you don't have to make it your whole thing, like whatsoever.
Yeah.
At least at this point, and if you catch fire with it, maybe you know,
Okay.
revisit and like, oh, wait a second, because what they say about niches or whatever. But so I don't know, like that would be my take, to be like, maybe there's something there that you shouldn't shy away from, because I
Okay.
don't know, you have the receipts.
And that's it, is I do.
Yeah.
Yes. And so it is funny to see people who lean so deeply into that. And yeah, that's it. Is I think I have been a little timid and I should probably just bring it to the forefront more often. And
Hmm.
probably same thing about talking about just how general teaching history weaves into my abilities. And yeah, I think you're right. But that was it. Was I went from not talking about it at all. And then some people are like, you should go from the classroom to the boardroom. And I like hate that. I hate,
Yeah,
but
definitely. Yeah.
yeah, but it's, and so it is that. And then also getting over get over myself and figure out a way to design a course or two if it feels truly beneficial. So those
Yeah,
are
because the other
all
thought I
mine.
had on that too is going the complete opposite direction and making it really expensive.
Yeah,
So that way, like, you don't feel like, I'm not saying go on Instagram and like be crazy with it or anything. I'm not saying being one of those like LinkedIn course people at at all. Like, because I don't know what you charge like a typical client.
yeah,
But if it's like a fraction of that, and because in that in that way, because I mean, I'm all about like making things like cheap, affordable things like that. But also at the same time, it's like, well, if someone really felt like that of a free 999, I'm not saying you should charge 999, but like whatever dollar amount that you felt like, hey, it was fair. I'm not saying scam people like
sure.
whatsoever, but if you felt like you put something together that had a lot of really damn good information, and it's like, yeah, this is worth something, like what would you feel good like absolving yourself from that, of
Yeah,
someone not like paying them money and then like not doing anything with it? Does that make sense? Do you get where I'm
yeah,
getting
and
at?
and that's it. Is it's really not.
Just
It's
an
the money
idea.
thing, but it is the. I love that there's product that at the end of time of working with me, they can say like, I now have this, or this is cleared up, or we've set up these automations. Like I
Yeah.
like having that tangible evidence,
Yeah. Hmm.
and I am hesitant to just send courses out into the world.
Yeah.
And if somebody were to like not do them, I don't know. That's,
it's
and
it's
again,
it
that's,
is a weird feeling. Yeah, I'm just yeah, just another
yeah,
way of looking at that same side of the coin and being like, okay, like at what, at what money amount, like, can you like feel a little bit better about that? But like, but still, like, it's the real work that you do is coming alongside. It's just a
yeah,
matter of like, how can people imagine working with you and like see what you do.
yeah,
So if it's not like a course, like, does that mean a couple more educational posts on LinkedIn, or like on the newsletter, like the LinkedIn? Because I looked and you have, what do you have here? You have 1,272 people subscribed to your LinkedIn newsletter.
which is wild because I just launched it in January. So I'm pleased with that. Yes. So
So do you feel like turning the knob on like the how to? Because like I've read a couple of them, and then like your
yeah,
posts, like they're a bit more like personal brandy type of posts. What do you think,
yeah,
especially since like when we're going back to the portfolio aspect of it, like there's not much, it's hard to show the work that you do.
yes.
So like, how do we bridge that gap of like, maybe it's not a case study, but like, but just
Yeah, I'm thinking
showing the
about
receipts a
that.
bit more?
Yeah, I was having conversations, and part of that is because I do like to be so flexible and I don't have like, I'm not like selling like, oh, you should use ClickUp or oh, you should do this. But I'm wondering if some of my future ones should be like, here's my recommendations for like,
Mhm.
Trello might be a better fit if you're this kind of person, that kind of conversation. But I guess,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Those might be just because people are like, okay, if you're thinking about doing it, here's what you're going to do. And I trying to make some like downloadable things that then, because the next step, right, is creating my own newsletter that then from the LinkedIn newsletter, if you want the download, sign up for my personal newsletter is like the next step in the daisy chain is kind
Mhm.
of what I'm envisioning. And I haven't done that, but I just started
Or
in January. Or
yeah. Because you said to me in the DM before when we were talking about doing this that like you don't have anything that's very like SEO. You wouldn't want someone to maybe not want, but like it's just something that's people wouldn't find you on Google.
right.
So maybe potential play is instead of having like courses and things like that, like so if you did write out like recommendations, like having it like on a website as a PDF to download.
Yeah.
So using like a website as a like to boost like the whole like personal brand because I remember you like you had a post about like what should I wear for my photo shoot or whatever and like you can use the shit out of those pictures on a website, like to
Yeah.
make it more like you because like LinkedIn is pretty narrow,
Mm-hmm.
but like maybe like getting more people into like the broader world of like Pamela where they can get resources and things like that because you do have like a really good about section. Now I'm just like maybe translate it into something that's a little bit more like you. I don't know, but like as far as getting people to download or like check out those like resources. So
Yeah.
so
I
it's
gotta
not
make
so it's I don't
I
know.
had one and I worked really hard on it and I was really pleased with it where it was like a 5-day time audit and you like logged really how you actually spent your time and then people would had the opportunity to spend 30 minutes with me and like tighten up and do their look at those sneaky time thieves.
Mhm.
But nobody did it and from what I heard it was too daunting, it was too much homework and so people didn't do it. And
Yeah.
again, that's where my barrier of like high value really helpful stuff that some people just want like the cheap dopamine download.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I yes, that is kind of my plan is to make sort of these like, people are always asking, which do I recommend? And the answer is it depends, but
Yeah, it's
maybe
always
here's
yeah.
my pros and cons of these different like different systems. And then they could download, like that could be a download or something like that. And then, or some sort of checklist or something. And then,
Yeah.
yeah, those things. And I would feel better about that could then opt them into my personal newsletter, which is the
Yeah.
right move. I know,
I
like
know. I
building
know.
on rented land and all those conversations. Like, I know it's just,
Yeah, yeah.
they only do so much. And then I get like
It's true.
overwhelmed because it's like, well, do I do Beehive? And that maybe if you're going to someday do a paid course, but I don't know if I'm going to do a paid course. So like, that's the problem is like, I feel like, you got to begin with the end in mind. And I don't always know what's the move.
Yeah. Like I can imagine like a person who just kind of wings it.
Yeah.
But you don't strike me as that person, especially since you're a process person.
Right. And I understand that everything is iterating and that we start with good and that you can get better. Like same thing. I wouldn't say pay for Monday project management day one. So I understand that, but there is you do yourself a favor when you find something that kind of naturally grows in the direction you want to go. And I
Yeah.
don't always know what that is.
Yeah. I do think like the general like advice from my point of view is like show more of the process stuff
Yeah.
now, like because I think it happens to everyone, like if they're doing like if you're doing your own content it's really hard to like adhere to a strategy, like if you're a type A person then yeah like then you're probably better at it than someone like me, but I do think like as far as like building that trust of like knowing what you're talking about, like just every now and again like just show them something, you know from that world, from what you do, like
Yeah.
certain things like that, whether it's like in a post or whatever, but like you can, whether like checklists and things like that, and the stuff that that you say, should come next, like I definitely think like having those resources available, and because you never know, like if someone downloads them and opt into, new, whatever it is, like if it's like your own newsletter, um I just showing your work, I think would be important, I think.
Yeah.
Like not even like your work, or just like because everyone's different, but just kind of showing like how you approach like the problem, and maybe someone would be like, oh my god, that would be so helpful, and
Yeah.
they send you a DM, and there you go.
There you
you know
go. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and it's interesting because, like, historically, I do a half day road mapping session with someone.
Hmm.
And then based on the roadmap, we then decide, do we want to do the full done for you, done with you? Like, that kind of helps me say, like, I think this would be 6 months. I think this would be, but again, um, and I love that, but I
Yeah.
also am seeing, and I have done a couple roadmaps that are just standalone. Let's just do a half day, dig through this, and I can kind of give you some advice on what to do.
Yeah.
And so I truly, like, I yesterday started drafting some posts about, like, maybe just book the roadmap. Like, don't think you have to be at the point or ready to make the investment or have the team, but even a solopreneur might benefit from half day with me. Let's dig in. Let's look at, what are you doing? You got a Google Doc? Okay. Well, how are we
Yeah.
using this? How can we leverage it? Um, those kind of plans. And so that's a new thing for me, is to kind of lean into it, not as these introductory piece to this 8-month commitment, but instead
Hmm.
as a standalone, let's pop the hood, poke around, figure out what we can do to make your life better.
Yeah, I mean, like in a roundabout way, it could turn into like an 8-month thing, depending on the
Could.
conversation. But like, maybe you're not leading with that. Like book this, so maybe we can see. Like, no, just book it. We'll see what happens a day and a half, and
Yeah.
yeah, um, yeah. I think that would be good. So yeah, I just think like, just going back to it is, it's just being able to show that expertise, and even like calling upon, like going back to the teaching thing, like have that like be part of your story more than it has. I know I've seen posts where you have like brought it up, but like I think you could probably bring that back into what you're doing, because it's been 5 years. I can I
Right.
can see, I can see like some hesitation, especially if you're trying to like sell yourself to like these like business types, and you're like, I don't know if they're going to want to work with a teacher, but like most people love teachers.
Well, thank you. I hope that's not always true, especially when people hear you talk like
most
social studies. They're
most
like, "Ew, why?" And I'm like, were all your history teachers coaches?
yeah. No, but I do think it showing more of that story is definitely like endearing too.
Right, I
I
guess.
forget. I don't know. Like my best stuff that I post is always when I talk about like my dirty band days. Like,
Sure.
and it feels tired to me. I'm like, oh, here I am talking about this stuff again. But then like that's the people. That's the thing. Like people want to hear about, like how to connect these. Like, how did you get here? Type of stories, and how does it matter what you're doing now? And I think there's something to that,
Okay.
in my opinion.
Interesting. Yeah, because that's it. I think because the other thing is, I'm not a social media person. Like, I just was on vacation for a week. I posted 0 pictures. Like, that is not who I
Yeah.
am. So it
Yeah.
is absurd to everybody that I'm like essentially daily posting. But I feel most comfortable kind of using it like a classroom. Like, what do I want to talk about today? What's a topic?
Yeah.
What's a concept? Or here's a tip. And I love leaning into that educational piece,
Hmm.
but I think I lean into it so much that it's not, I'm not, it's not inviting people to work with me as a business. And I need to do more of that invitational, or here's what working with me looks like. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's something that you do every
No,
every
yeah.
single post. Like, because I'm going through your LinkedIn right now. I would say like the last several that you've done, like I don't think have any. Okay, so here's one from a week ago. I'm gonna bring.
Sure.
I'm sure like you. This is great for you. It's like no shade if your lead management system is your inbox, we need to talk with big googly eye
Yeah.
emoji. I see all the okay. So like there's like one, like there's one right there.
Hmm.
But
Yes.
that's from like it could have been from 2 weeks because sometimes like LinkedIn's
Yeah.
weird on
Well,
like
and
what
I will
they.
say I literally haven't posted in over a week because I was on vacation. So
Right.
everything is, but I am my newest goal is to have like one per week that is a little more
Yeah,
salesy, direct.
like a tip, follow up with a small little sentence with the sales.
Kind of like if this is
Yeah,
something you're struggling with, let's spend some time together. Yes, I know I need to do that
I agree with
more.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that. Um,
Okay.
because you say you're not a social media person, but you have over 6,000 followers on LinkedIn. So
I've logged a ridiculous amount of time on LinkedIn and since a year ago. So yes. So I like it, but I'm saying like my Instagram, I don't even open Facebook anymore. My Instagram is like naked, like I have put
mm,
all of my social media battery into here and I'm pleased with it. And
yeah,
I'm,
totally.
and I've gotten some great opportunities. I've met some really awesome people, but I know that I've been leaning into it in the friendship way and that I
Yeah.
should get over myself and stop feeling bad about throwing some salesy stuff in there.
Yeah, there's one person. Okay, do you follow Isabel Stern?
That name sounds familiar.
So like this is how like so she's more of like a personal branding, but I remember it. She does a great job because I remember it because her
Yes.
newsletter is called Cringe Letter.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's
Yes.
like
I do
her.
follow her.
Yeah, she does a really good. I think she does a really good job of shit posting, but also like within a week she actually like posts something that's a bit more tip oriented, and she has a CTA at the bottom of the post or whatever else, like hey, work with me or whatever else. So I think she, at least something that I've noticed, like strikes a really good balance of that. So that's who I would say like hey, check her out, as far as how she does that, because like very
Okay.
different like things that you offer, but like people like you, like, right,
Right.
so and they like you for who you are, and if they want to work with you, doing it, they're not just falling into working with you. It's not like they found you on SEO for from Google or
Sure.
whatever else. So that's why I'm confident in being like, yeah, turn up the volume on like the teacher pass, turn up the volume on talking more about like the tips you have and how like what would be helpful. So like if I were to like give two recommendations, it's
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
So and also maybe like down the line eventually getting like your own website up, and then just have it
Well,
just being like an
I
HQ
have
of
a
like all
website.
the.
It's just very AI.
Oh yeah, you told me that. Let's see here.
I have
I'm
one.
clicking links.
It's PamelaKingConsulting.com.
So I think just using that more, just having be like, hey, if you want this, whatever you build, like as far as like resources go, um wherever you land on it, because whether it's
Yeah.
a free download, or if you get to a point where you feel like a course is good, or even if it's like a free, I don't know, whatever it is, but I just feel like utilizing that a bit more in your like CTAs to get people there to learn about like what you do like a little bit more. They'll give you an opportunity to show the work even more.
Yes. Yes. And that's it. And it is part of it is it's hard because it's like, oh, we cleaned up their thing. And then it's hard because some of it is proprietary stuff. Cause I'm
Yeah.
in, like I know this person's leads. I know their financials. So that's a little on the tricky side. Or I can't be like, look at this beautiful thing I made for this client. Cause it's under, you know, like,
uh,
so
NDA or
that's been
whatever.
tricky, but I'm going to lead into it. You're right. And like I said, I was drafting yesterday based on that, roadmap session I did. And I'm like, I could turn some of this into some like, not saying this person's name specifically, but like, hey, we talked about this. We did this. This session really helped them. Yeah. So those kind of things. And then, yeah, leaning into the teacher stuff more and making some sort of downloads, checklists or whatever that then I could put on the website, but I think it's really should probably be from the LinkedIn newsletter, then switching into opting into my personal newsletter for these additional pieces. And then, for more
Or
information, go to the
well, it
website.
could be like a quick preview or whatever of like that
Oh,
bigger piece.
yeah.
Like what if it's just like a few paragraphs and like, if you want more, going over here.
That's
So you're
true.
not showing you're giving enough. You're giving some value.
Yeah.
But if you
Yes.
really want to
I
learn
know. I
more,
just, God, it's
mosey
so
on
much
over.
work. I don't want to do it. I don't want
Yeah. So like, okay, so let's break it down by manageable pieces.
Right. And that's it. But it's like, oh God, do I have to go
Yeah.
into Mailer Lite and I have to create a campaign and I have to do the things? And
I would say like, don't even like worry about that. I would just like, if it starts at just like the posting, like as far as like, I always say like turning up the knob on those couple things, like whether it's like the teacher backstory, how it matters now, and also like showing the work. If that's it, then like I still think that's a lot more than that's still good. That's a good start rather than being like overwhelmed with like should do this, should do that. Also
okay.
like one last thing and I can like let you go because I'm on the like success stories because
Yes.
you have a few paragraphs from like the section where it says real entrepreneurs, real results, and it has like a few
Yeah.
quotes from folks. Like maybe sometime like in the future when it's not too much, but like picking someone who would be like if it's like a longer case, I know case studies like on its face may feel like it's boring or whatever else, but like I would just see if like one of these people would be like comfortable with being like, hey, if I write this, will you let me like show most of what's under the hood, or
Yeah.
something like that's not like not proprietary, but like NDA stuff. Like
Yeah.
stay away from that. But like, so I don't know. Just another thought, like that kind of gets into the weeds like a little bit more, like in how you did
Sure.
things. But that can be down the road. So just like start small with like
Yeah.
the posts and like newsletter stuff. Just being comfortable with like bringing in the teacher stuff and a bit more. I think
Okay. That's
that's
good to know.
that's my opinion. Take it for what it's worth.
No, I
It
mean,
was
you're
free.
right. You're like, nothing you're saying is, it all resonates. It's just, I got to do it and,
Yeah.
leaning into it. And then it's been fun because that is and I've had to be kind of pivoting more of my, like, whereas before LinkedIn, I was just having fun and meeting people and connecting, and it has been great. And I've, grown my network, but I do now need to, or I'm more interested in doing stuff that is a little more rooted in the business and less about just
Yeah.
like, here's a funny anecdote. Yeah.
Right. And I think that's like for myself, like personally, it's like, okay, it's that like it's one thing to like wax poetic on like how I look at things. But for me, I think because I have my own portfolio. People can look at the portfolio, but at the same time, it's like if I'm not really help, it's like, what have you done for me lately? Type of
Right.
thing. So now it's the challenge for me is putting myself out there more as like, no, like, yeah, I can talk about these like touchy feely stuff about like storytelling, but when the rubber meets the road, like, who cares if it doesn't help grow your business? So how do I put that together?
Yes.
And like, I know I can do it. Like I've been like a fractional marketing manager who's gotten like results. It's like, okay, it's time to for myself as well,
Right. Yeah.
so
Like the shoemaker's kids go shoeless. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, luckily I have a website to show in the next few days that I can like show off, like, hey, I still do this stuff. But helping people where they're at, and connecting like their own stories with what they do. Like that's what I have to focus on now. And that's,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a new year. I mean, I say that and it's freaking May, but like yeah, like there's different chapters, no pun intended for my own company, but like,
Yeah.
sometimes we end a chapter and we got to do something a little bit newer.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. And especially with the way LinkedIn is changing and the algorithms changing and stuff, like it's different.
it's
And
really, yeah,
so,
it's way different. Like, so how can I work with, I mean, I don't know about your reach
oh,
lately, but like, I'm like, okay, like if my posts are only going to be shown to like 150 to 200 people, like how can I make that count versus like trying to go, I'm not saying I always try to go, I haven't really tried to go viral at all, but like every now and again, like something will take off that I didn't expect. But I'm like, okay, well, if my audience is going to be like not even 10% of my audience is going to see this, then what do I do at this
well,
point?
that's it. And you can make yourself crazy and you can spend 8 hours a day commenting and, yeah, putting out stuff that is like engaging, but is it actually catching fire? And I think that's what I'm kind of having to, like manage my expectations on is, yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
getting it's not like, yeah, me too. Oh yeah, so nostalgic. Like those kind of posts maybe still get better reach, but like letting go of the reach and thinking of it more as this portfolio or credibility of if somebody meets me in the real world and they go on there and they see, that's kind of what I'm trying to do rather than make myself crazy over, what's getting seen or done or,
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know.
And for me, it's just being okay with like every now and again I'll post something like weird, like in throwaway, and that's as far as like my own like quote unquote personal brand is concerned. I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. Like I'll do that, but I think what people need to see these days is what you're saying. It's just like, okay, if they meet me somewhere and they know when I want to talk business and they find me, like I've had random people locally even say like, "Oh, I saw your LinkedIn." I was like, "Wait, what?" Like,
Yeah,
how did you do that? So, so yeah,
absolutely.
all that to say is I agree with you, and like I definitely don't want to um turn off my personal brand, personal story. Like I don't want to do that. For instance, a post I have about like going to the library and showing off the shit that I read, or records I listen to, like yes, I still want to do that. But as far as the people with money who can pay us,
Right.
they don't want to see that. If they do, then they're my people and I want to work with them anyway. But like I still need to be able to show and talk about things and in a real tangible way. So
Yeah. No, I get it.
a
That's it. And
struggle.
especially like we said, like when you're not even getting the dopamine of, wow, this is getting so much traction, then it's like, might as well just be a commercial then. Okay. You know?
Might as well run some ads at that point. Which
Yeah.
maybe not the worst thing to do, but it's not where you are right now. So
Yes. So thank
yeah.
you. This was affirming. Like I
Yay, if at
gotta
the
just
very least.
do it. Gotta just do
Yeah.
it. And yeah,
You
I
just
think
you just gotta do it.
probably Friday will be my part of it's I'm getting back in, so but that it will be like, hey, did a recent roadmap and here's what it looked like. That sounds
Yeah.
like you roadmap with
That
me.
could be a carousel, like a carousel post or whatever
Yes, but
else. Or
carousels are bombing and that's so much work and
that's just
carousel
yeah.
pop do terribly anymore. They used to be good.
Yeah. If it's, I don't know if it's good, it's good. I don't know. Like that's another thing that like I'm not struggling with, but like for like if the post is good, then it's good, regardless of what it is. But like, at what point do you ignore the algorithm and just post something that's just good without worrying about it?
The problem is what's good.
Yeah, it's subjective. Yeah, it's subjective,
Because
of
that's it.
course.
Like if
Yeah,
it's something I really like, my heart is in it, I put it out there and then it gets crickets and it's like,
yep.
okay,
Been there.
like I serve on the board of a nonprofit and all my posts about that nonprofit like do terribly. So, okay, fine, and I think of it as like if you want to know who I am as a person, this is a thing that matters to me. So it's in there, but it is versus, and then you see
Yeah,
other people who are just popping off, but it's because they're posting memes, you know? They're just, you
Yeah.
know.
We're not going to be the people. Like, I think it's just reminding myself, it's just, if only 100 people are going to see this, like they might not be commenting or doing anything at all. I just have to have faith that they're,
Yeah.
just because someone doesn't put a like to it doesn't mean that's not good.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you, yeah, I know you know that, like if the information's good, the information's good, and whoever wants to download it or whatever else, great.
Yeah.
If not, they should just do away with all the views and
Except for
numbers. And
then
I know,
no one would go on there, right?
yeah,
Because where's my dopamine? Where's my, I just,
where's my validation?
yes. So it's, whatever. It's just,
Yeah,
and it
just
is
gotta
funny where
do it.
they keep changing the algorithm and then everyone's like, oh, this person read about the new algorithm change. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Their videos are on the rise or, whatever. So we'll get out
That
of
has
it.
not been true for me, by the way, the video thing.
Everybody. But I keep hearing, oh no, now they're going to be pushing video. And I'm like, I don't.
That's what I mean.
Right.
It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
like, and I post the same video on Instagram and it gets 3 or 4 times the amount. I don't know. Like, not to get hung up on that. Anyway, I'll let you go.
All right. Well, thank you. This was so good. I don't know if this is, what your podcast's going for. I hope you got some usable stuff out of it.
I think it's good. I think it's good stuff because
Okay.
I personally love the podcast where like I hear, a conversation between two people, maybe not like an interview, because this was not like an interview, yeah, I asked you questions, but like it was just to help me get context. But I love hearing about like other people's, struggles or wins and things like that. There's some good, I think there's good ideas here regardless of like
Okay.
what's wrapped, like what's the wrapper, like
Okay.
I hope people can listen to your story and be like, oh yeah, like that sounds like me or whatever else. So like I have no, yeah, it's good.
Good.
Good job.
Well, good. If you're happy, I'm happy.